Thank you for joining the Asus Pro Art session at Adobe Max 2021. Recent times have been challenging, but also drove us to innovate. We all witnessed the extraordinary power of ideas and human ingenuity when faced with obstacles and limitations. At Asus, we are passionate about technology and applying it to innovate, bringing the latest technologies to our customers to help you overcome whatever difficulties you may be facing. Our goal is to empower you to realize your grandest visions and let you shape the future of creativity. Asus was the first company to bring dual-screen laptops to the market. The secondary display, the ScreenPad and ScreenPad Plus, is recognized by Windows just like an external monitor and works with any app. For seamless interaction and the smooth workflow, we created several shortcuts and multi-monitor management and configuration apps, in part based on feedback from our customers. And our latest control panel app lets you create virtual input deck with a custom button, slider, and dial layout with custom function shortcuts. The keyboard, touchpad, and mouse are powerful tools, but might not always be the best and most intuitive way to visualize your ideas. Different tactile and input methods often allow precise tweaks and adjustments for the perfect final touches. We have brought Asus Pen Support to a number of models, and in 2021, our latest StudioBook even supports Asus Pen input directly on its touchpad, turning it into a compact, built-in drawing board. In 2021, we are bringing our physical tactile Asus Dial to the entire ProArt family of products, from external monitors to laptops, mice, and more. The Asus Dial, as well as the Control Panel app, directly link to your on-screen controls and work with all 4 main Adobe suites, with more app support in the works. In Photoshop, you can easily modify brushes, switch between layers, or perform many other tasks manipulating assets intuitively. In Lightroom Classic, it's a breeze to adjust the color balance and tone, and in Premiere Pro, you can jog through scenes, quickly adjust audio tracks, and seamlessly edit clips. And in After Effects, you can navigate the timeline and zoom in and out. Our ProArt Creator lineup now includes laptops, desktops, stationary and monitors, motherboards, and peripherals. There isn't a one-size-fits-all for creators. The workflow and requirements differ immensely, which is why we offer a huge variety of creator-focused laptops. StudioBook for professionals with only the best components, such as i9 and R9 CPUs and top-of-the-line GeForce RTX GPUs. The StudioBook Pro series even comes with enterprise-level mobile Xeon and NVIDIA RTX A-series GPUs. ZenBook Pro for advanced creators and ZenBook Pro Duo for early adopters of dual-display laptops, and VivoBook Pro and Pro X for creators who need an ultra-portable form factor. In 2021, we're also bringing OLED displays to a large number of devices in different sizes, form factors, aspect ratios, and segments. Asus is well known for innovating and experimenting with new form factors and user experiences, and we aren't going to stop anytime soon. We are proud to work closer than ever with Adobe, various experts, and the community on bringing new and exciting features and form factors to the market.
What take are we on?
128.
128. So we got Asus ZenBook Pro Duo 15, Chris Hau, take 128. Imagine it was 128. How's it going, everybody? My name is Chris Hau, and I am a video content creator and YouTuber from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And thank you, Asus, so much for having me here today. Now, on any given week, I'm producing content for my social channels or clients. This content demand right now is crazy. It's actually insane how much we have to keep up with. I feel like between personal projects, client projects, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook, there's just too much to keep up with. So the tools that we use as creatives are very important in terms of our productivity and output. Today, I want to share with you my experience with this laptop right here. This is the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo 15, and I'm going to give you a little window into our Adobe Premiere Pro video workflow and how we use this laptop to increase our output and creativity. Now, I want to start off by showing you this video that we created last year called Toronto in 90 Seconds, and I'm going to put it right beside the Premiere Pro timeline to show you how much goes into an edit like this and exactly what we had to do to achieve it. This is your captain speaking. If you look out to your left, you can see the beautiful city of Toronto. We are now making our final descent. Please fasten your seatbelts. That is one of our favorite videos that we've ever created. So how do you edit something like this? A lot goes into it. So first, you want to start off with selects. Now, when we're shooting, we generally take a lot of notes of what takes we like and which ones that we think will work best in our final edit. Now, for example, that door kicking shot that you saw in that video, we did that 10 times, but we already knew on location which one was going to end up in the final edit. So what we'll do is we'll bring up our notes and our script in Google, and then we'll set up a workspace on this laptop where Premiere Pro is on the main screen right here, and then our notes and our script is on the second screen right here. This is the ScreenPad Plus. This way we can easily reference all our takes and just speed up the process of building out a rough cut. From there, we'll start to add the spice to the edit, the final layer on the cake. That includes graphics, sound effects, and a color grade. Now at this stage, we'll activate the Asus control panel, that's what they call it, and that automatically connects to Premiere Pro and creates an awesome virtual interface. With this interface, we can dial in our edit and get more precise with our changes. Now, in my personal opinion, artistry is all about nuance. It's all the little details that make something great. And micro adjustments can be very hard to hit with a mouse. Now, as a video content creator and editor, it's actually nice to interact with your content outside of a typical keyboard and mouse input. You got touch screens here, we've got the virtual dial. It just means that I can add a bit more of myself and my personality and creativity into my edits. So one of my favorite parts of the video editing process is adding the color grade. What I normally do is I find a really cool song that matches the tone of the video, and I kind of just get lost in adding like different colors to the shadows, to the highlights, and finding a color grade that matches our video. Now, in order to do that, we start by adding an adjustment layer and balancing out all the shots by changing the color temperature, exposure, and shadows and highlights. Then we add another adjustment layer in Premiere Pro on top of that to add the grade to enhance the mood and vibe of the shot. Now, in this case, in terms of this video right here, we wanted to show Toronto is a vibrant city in the summer. So we leaned a bit heavier on the warmer tones like the yellows and the oranges and the red, and then we added a slight saturation boost to really achieve that final look. It's actually such a pleasure to color grade on a computer like this because this laptop right here has a 4K ultra high definition OLED color accurate screen. Now there's two important parts from those stats that I just told you. Number one, it's OLED, which means that it renders richer colors and deeper blacks. And number two, and most importantly for our workflow, is that it's color accurate. Why is color grading on a color accurate monitor so important? Well, you want to make sure that your final video looks good when it's played back on multiple devices and other computers and screens all around the world. Now this final stage of editing in Premiere Pro generally causes a lot of stress on almost any computer, especially an edit like this that is running multiple plugins, effects, color, and large file sizes from multiple cameras. Now, one thing that we were genuinely surprised with when we actually started using this laptop was how decent the playback was with all these effects running. Now, from our understanding, this has mostly to do with the graphics card that's in this computer right here. Now, this laptop is running the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 graphics card, which ultimately allows for smoother playback and quicker rendering times. Now, on top of that, you want to make sure that you're not disrupting your creative flow. This is so important. I cannot iterate this enough. If something like long render times or glitches or choppy playback disrupts my flow, it takes such a long time for me to get back into that flow state. And studies have shown that it takes an average of 25 minutes to refocus on an original task after a single interruption. And the less distractions and roadblocks that I have in my life means that I can create more often. The quick rendering that comes out of this laptop is so essential for us as YouTubers because success on YouTube relies so heavily on consistency. And you wanna make sure that you get videos up and out as quickly as possible. Now, for example, this video is roughly 90 seconds and it only took 3 minutes to export on this laptop versus on my desktop, it took 8 minutes to export, and that computer is only 2 years old. Now, what I appreciate about this laptop from a workflow perspective are things like the dual touchscreen. In my personal opinion, this opens up a lot of doors for creatives and their ability to interact with their art. So your work is very much impacted by the tools that you use. On top of that, being able to get comparable desktop performance on the go is so essential to us. We travel all the time, so being able to have a laptop like this is so great for our YouTube channel. Now, I hope that gave you a super quick overview on our workflow in Premiere Pro. If you guys want to learn more, I post lots of tutorials on my social media accounts as well as my YouTube channel, so you guys can go and follow me there. Thank you, Asus, so much for having me here today.
Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and I'm one of the UK's biggest tech creator, YouTube person things. I make videos reviewing the latest tech, including this guy, which is a very special laptop and I have been using as my main workstation for the past few weeks. And so I want to share with you why I use this and also how it helps me to edit my videos in Adobe Premiere Pro. Okay, so this is the new Asus ProArt StudioBook Pro 16 OLED. Bit of a mouthful, but there's a lot going on here. And the first thing you'll notice is this, the Asus Dial. It's literally got a little rotary controller built in. But that's just the start. We also have this stunning 16-inch 4K OLED display. It's also a 16:10 aspect ratio, which gives us that little bit extra vertical screen space. There are various SKUs of this, but in the model I've got here, I have the Ryzen 9 5900HX processor, along with an NVIDIA RTX 3070 Max-Q GPU, and that's paired with 32 gigs RAM and a terabyte of storage. Plus, there's a huge range of ports, including a full-size SD card reader, which I find very handy, and also we've got this very nifty little privacy shutter for the webcam. The thing is though, you could use this as a gaming laptop if you wanted to, but really it's been designed for creators because it's also an NVIDIA Studio certified laptop, which means they thoroughly tested this with a wide range of productivity apps. We also have actually 3 buttons on the trackpad, as well as this Asus Dial we'll come to in a second, and of course this very color accurate high-res 4K screen. So it's a great all-round creator laptop, but what really makes it stand out is this, the Asus Dial, which gives you a whole nother way of interacting with programs. And the functions are contextual based on the app you're using, whether it's Premiere Pro or Photoshop, or you're just on the desktop. Although right now it is primarily the Adobe suite that supports it. But all this can be customized in the ProArt Hub, which we'll come back to in a second. So right now I've got the edit for my actual review of this StudioBook. I've got my A-roll, aka me talking to the camera. I've got my audio voiceover track, and also a bunch of B-roll that I need to cut down and find the best bits for, and then fill in the gaps between the A-roll. Pretty straightforward. Now, considering it is just me who shoots and edits my own videos, I don't tend to use bins or color coding very much. I know I probably should, but I'm self-taught and I use this in the way that suits my workflow. But over the years, I have got faster. I use more keyboard shortcuts like C for the razor tool, V to go back to the selection, Control A to select everything, and Control K to cut through all tracks. You can also hold Shift and pinch in and out, or use your mouse scroll wheel to expand the video or audio tracks. And also just generally, you might want to move around and edit the workspaces to how you like it. So we could spend hours talking about Premiere Pro, but the bottom line is I always want to find the best way to speed up or make my workflow more efficient. And so when I first tried this little guy down here, which I wasn't convinced I would like, I must admit going back to any other laptop or even my desktop without a separate sort of control system, I do miss this. By default in Premiere Pro, you've got time axis adjustment, so you can scrub through 1/100th of a second at a time for some really fine control. Although most of the time I use it for timeline zoom, which I find a lot more intuitive than holding the Alt key and pinching in or out of the touchpad. But the thing is, it's not one or the other. You can use the dial while also scrubbing through or selecting things with the touchpad. It's built for multitasking. Then you have audio height tracks, which is handy if you're making minor tweaks to your audio, or even if you just want to shrink them down so there's more space for your video tracks on the timeline. But if you jump into the ProArt Creator Hub, and actually here I do recommend putting the laptop in rendering mode and also enabling full fan when you're working with demanding tasks to get the best performance. But under the control settings, you can edit the wheel's functions. There's only 4 options right now in Premiere, but Photoshop and Lightroom Classic have a lot more to play with. And particularly in Lightroom Classic, being able to easily change the brush size, saturation, contrast, layer opacity, or quickly undo an action maybe, and I'm sure as you're watching this, you're thinking exactly how you would use this. You can also switch the dial to a Microsoft Wheel device if you prefer, which gives you slightly different options. But what really stuck out to me is that this isn't a gimmick. Asus have really smartly positioned it right under where your palm is, so you never feel it when you're typing or just using the laptop normally, but it's right there for your finger when you want to use it. And it means you don't have to carry any extra controllers with you on the go. And so as someone who spends half their life in Premiere Pro, and then touching up photos or thumbnails in Lightroom, I found having the Asus Dial genuinely useful, and it does set this apart from other creator laptops. And so then when I've edited my video, I'll throw in some background music, I'll do my color corrections, maybe add some text, export it, and upload it to YouTube. Job done. So a big thank you to Asus for sending this out for me to have a bit of a test. And if you do have any other questions about this, then head over to my YouTube channel, the Tech Chap, and leave a comment in my review video and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Hello everyone, my name is Radhakrishnan Chakyat. I am a commercial photographer based out of Mumbai, and I'm also an X-Rite Colorati master and also a YouTuber at VIILAGE. So we're going to be talking about color and how you can achieve good colors using Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop, and of course with the help of some fantastic monitors from Asus. I'm going to be using the PA279CV, and this one is the PA148CTV. It's a touch panel. Both are from the Pro Art series. So to today's topic about color. Now, in the web designing world, there is this famous or popular acronym called the WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. I think it is more relevant to a photographer than a web designer because we work with colors, all right. But WYSIWYG means what you see is what you get. And in a photographer's world, I would replace the Y with an I, saying that what I see is ideally what you should get. But in real world scenario, we see that it happens, but it doesn't happen by default. That's probably because though the digital world has really enabled you to handle colors across the platform with relative ease by putting these international color consortium standards by way of using profiles, we still don't really get them, primarily due to, let's say, lack of real understanding, or probably due to this carelessness, saying that, look, I bought the best camera, I bought the best computer, color should come by default. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So one must really understand the importance of handling color, especially the color profiles, throughout your workflow in order to let the viewer see what you saw as a photographer. I should actually make sure that what left from my studio is what I saw. After which you don't have too much of control on it, except that if the person down the line, follows that same discipline, then of course you will start getting it. So we have to start with a good monitor. A good monitor which is calibratable and also capable of showing you the colors that you have shot. Okay, which means your camera, your display, and your target device all should be calibrated. If at any point, if your calibration goes out, at that point you will start seeing false colors. Chances are that you will see false colors and brightness and contrast there. So you need to start with a great monitor. Here we are starting with a fantastic monitor, a 4K monitor from Asus, the PA279CV, which can reproduce 100% of sRGB and 100% of Rec. 709. Now, the sRGB is something which is predominantly used in the internet world, and for all practical purposes, digital printing is also perfectly okay with sRGB. Now, you must do a little bit of additional reading about color consortium, color profiles, and what is sRGB and what is Adobe RGB and what is Rec. 709. Now, these two monitors are actually Kalman certified for color accuracy. One, and it is also has a delta, it's the error value, which is less than 2. These two monitors, to show you excellent colors, you must keep them in ideal viewing conditions, which basically means that no flaring. You should have even lighting at the backdrop, preferably a 5600 Kelvin colors, or at least the color should not vary during your work times. If it happens, you will start seeing false colors. So if that is the way you're going to work with this, just go to the menu, pick the kind of color calibration that requires. You have lots of color calibration profiles available in the monitor. Pick that and start using it instantly. In order to do that, you need to go to, of course, you to run the Lightroom edit menu, preferences, and in preferences, external editing, and you need to pick an appropriate setting here. So I personally prefer to edit in TIFF, okay, not in JPEG. JPEG, I would use the JPEG for distribution, but for me to create my master file, I will use a TIFF, and preferably in Adobe RGB. But since predominantly my target is sRGB, and I'm going to pick sRGB as an option. My resolution, I come from the print world, so I keep it as 300 dpi, and I don't use any compression. So which means whenever I click process here and open on Photoshop, it will pick TIFF, sRGB, and a 16-bit file, which means it's got maximum information, and it will open up in Photoshop. Now, once that is done, okay, the system understands that this is my preference. What you are looking at here is my raw file. It contains everything. And now I have to start working on these images. When I look at it, it's a perfectly exposed image. Let me see if I have something else. Yeah, this one probably have some overexposed area, so I will start working on it. For working, Asus has a very interesting feature in this particular touch panel. So it's called the control panel. It's basically allow me to have a very intuitive way of using the Lightroom controls using this particular touch screen. Well, typically we would use the mouse or an external device, but this has a 2-in-1 usage. Well, I need to activate it in control settings, activate it. So this is the kind of screen that I will get. When I enable, I can use that particular thing called the control panel with almost all Adobe softwares. So Photoshop, Lightroom, Premiere, After Effects all are supported. So once I apply, I get the control panel. It looks something like this, and it is customizable. So all these keys can be custom. You know what a customizable feature is. So I can pick any of these, go to the control panel setup, and customize this. And I can use this, as a touch panel to zoom. I can control the clarity here. I have, quick controls to, rotate the image. Just touch and it rotates. It can stack, it can undo and redo, I can flag, I can unflag, I can reject, I can do a whole lot of things. Now, when I look at this image and look at the corresponding histogram, I see this image as a little kind of overexposed. The highlights are a little blonde, but I've shot raw, so I can actually control this image. The first thing I'll do is to reduce the white a little. Okay, so I've reduced, and I can also see corresponding changes happening here, and then I'll pull the highlight a little. So when I look at the histogram, I can see that it has now come in to the usable gamut. Now what I'm going to do is to open up the shadows a little. So I'm going to open the blacks a little. The saturation is perfect. Both files are being opened now. Go to Windows and arrange them side by side. These are two images. This one is worked on another computer. This one is worked on this monitor. Now this, as you can see, this is kind of gone green and cold. This is now nice and warm. Work with best tools. A 4K monitor, a 27-inch monitor. I told you it is the PA279CV, which is Calman certified calibratable monitor. And here I have the 148CV. I also use this when I shoot outdoors. This is my monitor. I mean, when you shoot outdoors, your LCD of your camera will not really kind of give you good color reproduction. In such cases, I connect and play it onto this monitor and see if I've got everything right. So I use this small smart monitor as my preview monitor as well when I go out. So that's what my workflow is. Very simple. This is the best I can explain in the time given to me. So this is Radhakrishnan Chakyat signing off. Hope to meet you soon with another episode on color. Bye for now.
With limitations melting away thanks to the latest technological innovations, creativity is more unchained and important than ever. At Asus, we will continue to expand and improve our solutions so you can focus on bringing your imagination to life. I'm looking forward to see you all again next time.